Hello everybody and welcome to LampUI. I'm going to introduce this deck profile very quickly with something I wanted to do for a while. Actually, we're going to give away this American English booster box of Battle of Chaos, and all you have to do for that is like this video, subscribe to this channel, and then also please make a comment underneath this video, and then you're illegal to participate in the giveaway, and the giveaway is worldwide, so just one person that does all the 3 steps will receive the booster box and I will ship it over to you. And with all that being said, I think we can just hop into the deck profile. Hello everyone, welcome to the deck profile. This is the deck I used to come in top 16 at the Noncasualvaganza last weekend. I was 7-1 in Swiss, being 2nd in total out of 151 players. Only losing to the guy that came in first out the Swiss, who was on tier element Despia. And then in top 16, I played the mirror match, and the mirror match in that case is a P.u.n.k mirror match, because that is the deck I used as well, and I sadly lost it, so the journey was over in top 16. Still, the deck performed very well in Swiss, so I might as well show it to you. But before I start off, some quick shoutouts. First of all, big shout out to Chris, who actually owns 80% of the cards I'm going to showcase here, and was friendly enough to give them to me on Friday before the event and lend them to me, so I was able to play that cool deck. Very big shoutouts to him. Then second of all, shoutouts to Calvin, who made those beautiful tokens and field centers, and if you want to have any of those, just join the stream and tell me that you want them, and we will figure out a way to actually get them over to you, maybe at Euros, maybe at whatever, who knows. And then, third of all, shoutouts to P.u.n.k, who basically is the inventor of this pure punk deck. And you will see my deck does not differ a whole lot from his list. I am not preparing that much as a player for Euros, as you know. So I don't really have to come up with a super creative deck list or anything. So my deck is pretty similar to his. Over the course of the tourney, I definitely figured out some things I might want to change, and we will talk about the stuff that I'm willing to change after I showed you the deck. And yeah, that's enough being said in front of the profile, I would say. So let's get into it. This, obviously, is the card why you play the deck. And I don't think you have to lose a whole lot of words about Emergency Teleport. It just is a insane extender. It's of course also a starter in case you haven't started any punk monsters. So this card alone just does so much. Also, it can come up. It actually came up, for example, in my top 16 match in the game I won, where he just set this to play around Nip. He actually nipped me, and then next turn I just had Gizmek Engrave, and I had my Chartreuse still on deck, so I just synchroed on his turn, and he couldn't do anything about it. So that can be held in hand even if you have enough without it already. Then the one of punks, I played Madame Spider, Chartreuse, and Vagon. Vagon is insane. Like, Vagon wasn't played before, but now is pretty much a staple with a field spell being around. And there's so many times I just brought this out before I went into my place, just to secure that I'm not getting Veiler, that I'm not getting Impermanent on my Zeamin. And if I still get Veiler the Impermanent, I just get an extra draw, so it's like I may as well draw the card that I want to search anyways. So Vagon, definitely insane. Then Madame Spider, like, it's an additional name that makes you pay life points to activate its effect. So you want to use this a lot to actually trigger your field spell twice. So you kind of need to play it. And also it gives you some more flexibility in your end board, because you're ending on a trap as well and not just only on monster effects. So you don't lose that much to Dark Rune no more, obviously. So definitely should play it for sure. And then Chartreuse is obviously insane. Like, Chartreuse enables you the fusion route on your turn, which is a pretty good combo, because it just gets you out an additional name such as Madame Spider or Vagon, and of course gives you access to Geonode as well. And if this resolves, like, it's usually really big for you, especially when you have the field spell on top of it, so you should usually be winning if you do that. And then of course in the opponent's turn it's even bigger, because in the opponent's turn it's just a quick effect, synchro summon whenever you want. It's not just main phase only or something, you can do it whenever. So Chartreuse are definitely insane, and I would definitely think about playing more than one copy of this for sure. It's definitely great. So going on to the bigger punk package, and to the real good punk cards, I want to say. So Xiaomin is just the best. If you're not playing free Xiaomin in the pure punk deck, you're missing out. This card is just insane. There's no way you should ever not be playing free Xiaomin. Then let's go over to the other non-debatable free ops. Foxy Tune, definitely same goes for this. It just is a starter. It just helps you even as an extender. Like, all of these cards are basically starters and extenders. That's so cool about them. Like, E-Tail is a starter and an extender. Xiaomin is a starter and an extender. Foxy Tune is a starter and an extender. It's just really, really good in this deck. And Ogadan's definitely great as well. There are definitely scenarios in which you just search for Ogadans with Xiaomin to have that step in between. So you get either just a punk name into the graveyard to trigger your field spell, or you get a dog into the graveyard to have a safe dog for your Chaos Ruler. So definitely Ogadans is a bridge a lot, and you will use it. And then for Dianote, I also decided to run triple, and I found myself siding out one going second a lot, and even sometimes siding it out going first, because I'm siding quite heavily for going first, as you will see in the side deck. And you might as well try to cut it out, I think, from the main deck just completely, like going for 2 copies in total. Because like, hard drawing it is fine, because there are multiple ways to summon it out with the field spell, and of course through its own effect as well. But drawing multiple of it is not really great. You just usually then discard it or something. But whenever you are playing your combo, you obviously have to resolve this graveyard effect as well. So you definitely have to get to Dianote at some point, for sure. And then this card from Power of the Elements. It's so crazy. The set is so great. Like, every deck essentially got something insanely good out of Power of the Elements. And this is definitely one of the cards. Like, the fact that the draw effect of this is twice per turn. Like, I've had so many times I talked to my opponent and I announced the draw effect for the second time. And he was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's up to twice per turn. And so you just get extra plus, and you will see I'm playing a bunch of hand traps. So it definitely is worth drawing into a lot of cards, because you are just going to draw hand traps, which are then of course insane on your opponent's turn. And of course the special summon effect by banishing one from the graveyard comes up a lot too, because it also acts in a stand event. Then of course the trap. I was debating on whether I want to run this trap or the Imperm trap, but I figured this is just a more universal interruption by just popping one card. And also, you are already running like Veilers, Imperms, so that effect negation is there for the most part already. So I didn't figure I would need it again. And I figured just having a mine out and stuff like that just makes more sense, so I went with that trap. And then the monsters that don't belong to the punk archetype anymore, but are also not hand traps, is triple Gizmak. And like, people that would think about cutting Gizmak are crazy, not gonna lie. Gizmak is just the best card of the deck, essentially. Maybe not the best, because the punk engine is insane too. And also, that was the reason I wanted to play this deck. Before Power of the Elements came out, said a lot that punk is just the best engine in the game we have currently. So, of course, Power of the Elements came out, and that changed a bit because Sprite is there and Telements is there now. But still, this engine is so insanely strong, so I feel like abusing it in a deck must be a way to success. And I mean, we had quite some success, so I still feel like this deck is very well in Power of the Elements format. And Gizmek is insane. Like, from time to time it comes up that this card makes you have very, very, very low resources in your deck, which can be annoying. But how often I extended with this card was insane. Like, imagine I only have Xiaomin as a normal summon, and that is pretty much my only punk card. Or also Foxy Tune is the same. Just having Foxy Tune and Foxy Tune bringing out Xiaomin ends in the same. Like, when he has Imperm or Veiler on my Xiaomin, my turn can be over. But so many times I then just went, yeah, effect Gizmak, boom, and there we are. Just straight up go into my Hulk plays and so on. So we were really, really good with Gizmek. And also, my main deck total is 47 cards. I would definitely think about playing more cards just to resolve Gizmek more often, for sure. Like, Gizmek is insane, and I definitely love it. And then we have Shinobi Necro. Honestly, in theory, this card is kind of nice because you banish it with Chaos Ruler and then it special summons itself back. But I had very, very, very many occasions where it just wasn't necessary, actually. Because you get a level 2 tuner through Hulk anyway, so very often I just didn't really need the special summon effect of Shinobu Necro, I will say. So this might as well be cuttable. Like, I wasn't really in love with Necro. Also, it's not a great card to draw, so you might as well cut this up, from my personal feeling. And then the two consistency cards, Desires. And you would say, like, bro, you're playing Desires and Gizmag. Isn't that a lot of banishing? This looks like a Grand Magi deck. And it from time to time honestly felt like a Grand Magi deck, not gonna lie. But the drawers are just insane. Like, you from time to time just need it for sure. I will say it can be a little bit risky from time to time. Because let's say you set up Lambda with Gamma in hand. And then you sit there and you resolve your combo. And you have Gamma in hand, you have Lambda on board, you already built like your Hulk plays and maybe a Baron. You just literally, you cannot activate this card because the risk of banishing the driver is just so insanely high because you banish 10 cards out of then maybe 30 left or something. So it's essentially impossible to activate Desires at that point, so that's a little annoying. But on the other hand, Prosperity isn't an option because you are drawing with your field spell. And I wanted some kind of consistency card, so Desires was just the best I could go, I feel like. And so basically, as you see, it was those cards for not punk related cards in the deck, like the Gizmags, the Shinobi, and the double Desires. And from now on, it's just hand traps basically. And let me show you the full lineup. We went with the triple Nibiru, triple Gamma plus the obvious driver, triple Ghost Ogre, triple Ash Blossom, triple Veiler, and triple Imperm. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 hand traps plus the driver, so 19 spots for that, which is insanely big, but I feel like that is really the main reason why I picked the deck. You have so much interaction with your opponent because you're so flexible on using your hand traps, and if you really use your hand traps well versus your opponents, I feel like this is like maybe the best deck in terms of reward for a good player in the current format. If you like throw your hand traps very well, and you will draw hand traps with this because see how many hand traps we are playing. It's insanely many. You will draw into them. So if you time them correctly, if you play that out well, I feel like this deck really rewards you for playing well and timing your hand traps well. So I wanted a deck that even though when I lose a die roll, and I lost a lot of die rolls over the weekend, will actually give you the chance to interact with your opponent and be like very good going second. And yeah, this provided it. Especially the Nibiru. Like, people are saying you should not be playing Nibiru currently in the main deck. And therefore people disrespect it so much. Like, I Nibiru'd Teal players, I Nibiru'd Sprite players just because they did not expect this. And like, of course versus Sprite from time to time you will need Veiler plus Nibiru or like Imprint plus Nibiru or Nibiru plus Gamma because they have red on board already. But still, like, it works out so often because you will draw multiple hand traps a lot. So I definitely feel like that was great. One thing I would consider is maybe going for Crows in the main deck because Crows are really good versus Tier. And I feel like my Tier matchup is like really mediocre at the moment. I also lost to Tier in the tourney, as I said. So maybe it would be Crows that could do the job here. Bell would also be a consideration. Yeah, pretty much. So then the extra deck, Cheng Ying. That's my first level 10 synchro, and I will tell you, this guy gets beefy. I told you, I from time to time have like 28 banished cards, maybe even 36 or something like that, some crazy numbers. And then this card is just a main win option on its own because it's so insanely big. And also Telements will have a hard time outing this because their monsters also get smaller, so how are they even running over this? It's like really tough. Then Formula, of course, to tag out with Hulk. That's like your main combo line, your main way to play in your opponent's turn. Lambda. I did this from time to time as a bluff too. You just summon this out and like your opponent doesn't even really want to nip you anymore because you might have Gamma in hand and then you're just sitting there with an additional level 8 synchro monster, which would be for the most part, because you went through your chaos rule already, would be the Gem Dragon Drive, and that also then gives you another Ogre in hand, which is pretty insane. Then the double how's it called? Amazing Dragon, yeah. I made it a lot, of course. This is like I didn't play back row, but versus back row this is insane, of course. And besides that, it can of course also like revive the fusion monster, the carbon, or the carb, never mind, and therefore can provide a lot of OTK potential on its own. But I have to say, I never really went into two of those. Like, the second one feels kind of unnecessary, and I definitely would consider cutting one of those, because whenever you summon it, it's great, but it comes up so rarely that you're actually going to summon two of them, because it's not the only level 11 synchro. You also have Punisher, and Punisher comes up a bunch too, and Punisher just really seals the deal. Like, whenever you summon Punisher, you're basically winning. So I very often went into Punisher, and I was like, why would I summon the second Amazing Dragon? So Punisher really like being a lot more important. I talked about this card earlier when I talked about the Sharakuzai. This is just insane. This extends your combo so much. It makes your combo so much bigger. It gives you access to more small punk monsters, which make you pay life points, so you can trigger your field spell more often. So this is definitely a great card, and I would recommend you to go into it as often as possible. I wasn't going into this as often as possible in the beginning, but I learned that it's really important to do so. Hulk, yeah, what can I say? Will be interesting if this card gets hit on the ban list, how this deck overall can still perform. I would say it's still decent, but Hulk is definitely a great card for the deck, not gonna lie. It will not be easy. Then I played Sprite Elf. Honestly, I summoned it once. Like, in theory, it's kind of okay, because it can also reborn like Hulk or something. But to be honest, like, I never really felt like the need to summon it. I think I summoned it one time over the whole Curse of Eternity, and it didn't give me the power I wanted to. And then let's see, let's put that at the end. Chaos Ruler, what can you say? This card is insane. Zombie Vampire, I think I summoned it like once or maximum twice. And like, you don't really want to summon this currently. Like, I'm absolutely not going to play this in the future, I think. Because the risk of your opponent playing Telements currently is just so high that you can't afford to make this card. Like, what are you doing? Okay, we mill, and okay, we get our tuner. Best case, we get a tuner and maybe mill Gizmek or something. But our opponent is milling a Telement name, which is crazy for him, and which gets him so much advantage out of just me resolving the zombie vampires. So I feel like zombie vampire is just cuttable for sure. Like, I don't, for the current format we're in, this is just too risky to actually resolve even. Then we have the Gem Dragon Drive. Gem Dragon Drive I also didn't make a lot, but for example, for the Sprite matchup, in theory, this seems really good. You could even make it instead of Chaos Ruler. Because it will just search you out Ogre, and Ogre is very good versus Gigantic, as we all know. So versus that, it seems good. Also, like, when you already went through Chaos Ruler and have the option to make another Synchro 8, you will obviously go into this a lot, so it's good to have the option, for sure. And also, it can not only search you Ogre, but it can also search you like Xiaomin and stuff, so it will definitely give you access to your engine a lot more again. Because from time to time, this deck can struggle to have a good turn 3, because when your board gets broken, you don't have that much follow-up. So this card definitely helps. If you can get into this, it will get your engine going again. Dark, I made it like maybe once or twice. It wasn't great, but you would see why. Like, we can talk about those cards together. Baron is a staple, of course. I don't need to talk about Baron. But then I have Unicorn and Dark, and you will realize there was no Selene and no access code in this. I think I would have played them if I had them by hand, but I didn't have them available to me. But honestly, like, in Swiss, they didn't come up a single time. In top 16, access code would have came up, and it would have been semi-decent. But honestly, like, I would have still probably lost game 3, even if I would have summoned it, because my opponent had Nib and a way to go into Punisher next turn, so it would have been basically impossible to win the game anyhow. So, like, you don't really need access code, but you don't really need Unicorn either. Like, this can come up if you have to out a very specific floodgate, maybe. But for me, it just personally never came up. But it's nice to have the option, I would say. It could very well be Phoenix as well, though. Like, it just doesn't really change a whole lot between the two, I would say. But I would say if you want to play this as a budget deck, it's definitely playable without access code and Selene. So you save quite a bit by not buying those cards, so playing it without them definitely is fine. Then the weirdest part about my deck is 1 Crow and 2 Droll and Lockbird. So I was just going back and forth about this. I first off had triple draw, but then I was like, is draw really that necessary? I put out one DD Crow from my bulk basically, threw it in, put out one draw, and then I was like, but it's like this tournament is known to have a lot of rogue decks, and versus rogue draw is actually good. But I played a lot of I played a lot of Tier and Sprites, so this card was absolutely not necessary. It's good in the P.u.n.k. But besides that, it's just not great. Like, this should have been cut, either for more DD Crows, or I pretty much missed Dark Ruler quite a bit. I should have played Dark Rulers. I made the very unconventional choice of not playing Dark Rulers at all, even though everybody currently is on Dark Ruler basically, even in the main deck. And I made the unconventional choice to not play it, but I could see this just being Dark Rulers, let's be honest. That could just very well be Dark Rulers for sure. Then, in the standard manner of the current format, I was also citing 6 going first cards, being anti-spells and there can be only ones. And yeah, there can be only one is a little bit tricky. It's very good versus all the Cybers decks, and it's also like decent versus Sprite for sure. But it's super bad versus Telements. Like, not super bad. I will also cite it in because there can be very niche scenarios where this stops them a little bit. But it's just not great versus this. And so I may want to go with Solemn Judgments or Pointers instead, because they are just more universal than this. But they did their job versus Cybers decks for sure. I played Salamangreat. I played... what did I also play? Like U-Link deck, and versus those it was pretty good. And Anti-Spell, yeah. When you draw this card, when you have this hard draw, it makes you play your combo a lot different, because you just don't have to play around Dark Ruler anymore. So whenever you draw this and you can still combo, you will combo in a different way, because you know, hey, he's not going to be able to use Dark Ruler on me. And therefore, I think at the moment, I made a very interesting choice, and I played Evenlies. And I think a lot of people are actually on this, and they are playing around Dark Ruler a lot. But they're not playing around evenly, actually. And many times, when I made the line where I played around Dark Ruler, I would have been so heavily hit by Evenly. So if my opponent would have had Evenly, it would have been a lot better. So I think currently Evenly is really good. Also, it's so good into the T-Elements matchup. So I feel like Evenly definitely great, because it also covers the back row matchups. So from my perspective, Evenly, for the moment, like an insanely good sideboard card. It has been for a long time, but currently, again, it's really able to shine. So I would definitely recommend you to play Evenly currently. And then, of course, some back row hate. We just played the triple Cosmic. You don't really afford... You cannot really afford to play Twins, so Cosmic just seems better. And also, it's like the spot removal for the Mystic Mine and stuff like that. So Cosmic definitely worth it. So that was the list, yeah. What could we still talk about in the end? I think you should definitely not shy away from making this more cards. This was 47 cards. But as I said, with like Gizmic and all of that, it's definitely easily possible to even... I would even go like 60 or like 55 at least, because this deck definitely can handle it. I will tell you, this deck can handle it for sure. And you are benching a lot of cards, so it could definitely come up that you need more than those 47 cards. And I would recommend you to not actually play less than 45 at least. Like, I played 47 as I said, but definitely don't go below 45. Or cut Gizmek. But from my personal experience, I would never recommend you to cut Gizmek, because Gizmek is just really, really, really strong. Also, the fact that it's level 8 is just insanely good. So, from my perspective, don't cut Gizmeks, and rather go with more cards in deck. That's definitely the way to go. You could also just throw in more hand traps. For example, throw in the free crows in the main deck. I think that's definitely a good call. Also, with playing more cards in the main deck, you will less often banish the driver for the Gamma. Where's the beautiful driver? There it is. You will less often banish this. I think it really helps the deck to play more cards. Then also, as I said, a second Sharakuzai pretty much is something I would definitely put in here. And also, because the field spell is so insanely good, I figured that you might as well run Mystic Mine in the main deck. I know you guys will be like, oh, why Mystic Mine? Yeah. But Mystic Mine definitely is a great card which helps you play going second. And you definitely want to see this card. So you might as well play Terraforming plus Mystic Mine. And you could even play Set Rotation if you're already going that route. So going Set Rotation and Mystic Mine on top of this. Feels like a pretty good idea to bump up the numbers. I will definitely try that out in the future for sure. That should be helpful. And besides that, yeah, the P.u.n.k engine is still insanely strong. Try it out yourself. It's not that expensive. Like the P.u.n.k engine, besides the Foxy tune, is like pretty much a steal. And you should definitely try it out. It's a fun deck which rewards you for playing well and for testing it a lot. And yeah, I hope you guys have a lot of success at Euros. I hope I will see you there. Participate in the giveaway that was stated at the start of this video, and have a good day, guys.